All right, welcome back, boys, to the Chew the Clock podcast. It is now week 9 of the NFL 2020 season. We're just going to go through the games as usual, break down Thursday Night Football, and then after each game breakdown, we're going to each give our takes on who we think is going to win. We actually have last week's podcast pick tracker. I only was able to track Logan and I's picks because Jacob unfortunately lagged out a little bit. So right now I was 8 for 13. I got the Titans game wrong, the Lions game wrong, the Packers game, the Rams game, and the Chargers game. Logan was unfortunately, I think, 6 for 13. wasn't the hottest week for him. He got the Titans, Browns, Lions, Packers, Rams, Ravens, and Chargers game wrong. And then from the 4 games Jacob predicted that I got written down, he got the Pats game wrong and the Lions game wrong. So
Who did the Lions
looks like
play?
we all got the Lions game. The Lions played. Oh shoot, I already forgot. It was a
Oh, the
blowout though.
Colts, right?
I think it was the Colts. Yep, the Colts.
Gosh dang.
Who did Titans play?
I don't know why we all picked the Lions in hindsight.
Yeah, I don't know why either.
Who did Titans play?
They played Cincinnati. Upset.
Yeah, so I don't really know what we're supposed to do there. I'm pretty sure everyone would have predicted the Titans to win that one. So
Yeah, they got blown out. They're coming back. AJ Brown saved his week with a garbage time touchdown.
yeah, don't remind me.
I guess it's Burrow time.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll touch on that afterwards. So I guess the Thursday night game wasn't much of a game.
Mm-mm.
The 49ers' entire offense was hurt. Like literally every single one of their first stringers, including, besides the linemen, I guess. Aaron Jones was questionable up until the game, but he came back. There was a lot of talk about him possibly being on a touch count or limited touch count, but he clearly wasn't. He got like 4 carries in a row in the first drive. So he's back. Wasn't really much. Pretty standard game from the Packers. They crushed them. However, there's one candidate for the 49ers. We got Richie James with a big game. Don't really know if he's anyone to keep an eye out, per se, because he only exploded because, as we mentioned before, the 49ers had their entire wide receiver core injured or on the COVID list. So, unfortunate idea for them. But anything you guys got to say on that game? Or, not much to touch on, really.
Kind of sick and tired of Devontae getting so many points.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I don't have him, so I'm sick and tired of it.
When Rodgers drops back and just literally sees Devontae one-on-one down the sideline, it's like a 10 out of 10 conversion rate. It's stupid. And I have him, so I'm saying that because it's my anxiety shoots up to about a 10 when Rodgers just drops back and just floats it, and I'm like, this could be a lot of points. Please catch it, and then he usually does. So yeah, he's ridiculous. That Rodgers to Adams combo is pretty much unstoppable. And honestly, I don't know why teams have not tried to double team him more. Don't get any idea in case you're an NFL team listening to this podcast, but I just don't understand why you would ever single cover him. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, he's pretty unstoppable. I think I didn't watch much of the game just because it was a blowout, but Valdez-Scantling had 2 touchdowns at the end of the game. One was a long, 60-something yard touchdown pass. I still don't think he's anyone to really consider. He's the definition of boomer bust. So maybe if like Adams is out again, he's someone to keep an eye on. But I think
Even then,
Lazard
I
might
mean,
be coming back.
Adams missed time to injure already this year, and MVS
Yeah,
didn't even step up. And now you have
yeah,
Lazard coming back, and I feel like once you get Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones back to full speed, I don't see a scenario where an MVS is reliable or even close to reliable on a weekly basis. So
yeah. I'm gonna be sticking with Rogers, Jones, and Adams,
pretty
and
much.
maybe Tanyan, depending on your tight end situation. But yeah. All right, I guess we can head on down to the first 10 a.m. games this coming week. First game, we have Denver at Atlanta. Um, you guys have any outstanding thoughts going into that game? Or what's going on?
I don't think Calvin Ridley's playing. They gave me false hope a little bit because we watched him get hurt last Thursday night against the Panthers, but then they called it day to day. But then he didn't practice all week. But then randomly on Friday, you get the update that he's questionable instead of out. So then, they gave fantasy managers some hope, and then there's been reports in the last hour that the Falcons say that's going to be tough for him to play, but they're going to test him in warm up. Um, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because we've seen this year alone a couple times where it's been the Calvin Ridley show minus Julio, but we haven't really seen it in the other way around for a while. So it's going to be interesting to see if a guy like maybe Russell Gage or Hayden Hurst maybe sees a few more targets.
Yeah, it's interesting with Calvin Ridley going out. Last game, Julio blew up. So if Ridley doesn't play, clearly there's going to be much more target share in favor of Julio. So,
Mhm.
I mean, I think you're starting Julio, starting Hurst, Gage. If Calvin Ridley doesn't play, maybe a flex. You're not feeling good about it, but you're doing
Eh,
it. And I think you're going to have to still throw in Gurley just because he's leading the league in touchdowns, even though he's not looking the greatest. He's still scoring. So,
yeah. I think the Falcon side of the ball is relatively easy, regardless of if Ridley plays or not. I mean, obviously, if Ridley plays, you're probably gonna have to play him, and you probably feel a little bit better about Matt Ryan too. But I think the Broncos side of the ball is a little bit more, it's a little bit murkier because there are some
mhm.
guys that we don't really feel great about on any week, and now you get this matchup with Atlanta in a dome, and it's just it's really difficult to get excited about the Denver Broncos offense, but they put up 30 plus points against the Chargers last week, so I don't know.
Yeah, talk about a comeback, man. Chargers,
Yeah.
time after time, never disappointing. Good old Spanos curse. Yeah, for the Broncos, I think you can start not Gurley. You can start Melvin Gordon. If Lindsey plays, I think you can start him. I'm not sure on his. Was it a concussion?
It's a toe
Not
thing
quite
now.
sure.
I don't know what the deal is, but
Uh,
I'm a Melvin Gordon manager, and I was kind of hoping that he might miss the game, but pretty much all the reports have been saying that he's expected to play, so makes it a
yeah,
little
I
bit less
think you can
exciting to play
start
for.
both of them really. Because I mean I mean, who else? I mean that passing attack. Drew Lock, he hasn't looked terrible, but he hasn't looked relatively good either. So
I think you
I think
start
the only
Fant.
people, yeah, you can trust Fant for the most part, just because he's a tight end, and I mean the tight end situation every year is not the greatest. And I think you can throw out, or I think you can throw Judy in your lineups. I mean, he's not gonna put up the greatest of games, but when you have a star player like him, and you just see his film and his tape and how good he looks when he's running routes and everything, you feel more confident starting him. So
Hmm.
I think that's definitely a factor to consider.
Yeah.
But
And we'll see if Tim Patrick plays too. He's been kind of banged up as of late,
yeah,
the hamstring. So
interesting. All right, who do we have for this game? Who you guys choosing? I'll record it. Jacob Logan.
Pick the winner. Who you got, kid?
Hmm.
Do we have to pick a winner, or can both these
No,
teams
this
lose?
game
Is
is
that
weird.
possible? Jeez.
Seems definitely weird.
Yeah,
Broncos.
I'm gonna go Falcons.
Yeah, Broncos. I guess I'm the deciding factor. Oh man, I think I'm gonna go Falcons. The defense isn't good, but
No.
their offense is better than the Broncos, and I feel like their offense is better than the Broncos' defense versus vice versa.
Lone wolf right here.
Lone wolf.
Uh,
Well, Luke,
Okay.
I would be careful, buddy, because every time that someone roots for the Falcons, they seem to kind of
I know.
let you down. So I agree, though. I think the Falcons' offense. I don't know, like if the Falcons put up 25 to 30 points, I don't know if Denver's really going to be able to kind of keep up with them.
I know, right? But guess time shall tell.
Yeah, I think we can move on. Probably go a little quicker on these next few here.
Yeah, sure.
Some easier ones.
All right, we got Seattle at Buffalo for the next game. I feel like you're starting everyone on offense that is playing and healthy. So
Which side?
for both sides, really
Yeah.
relevant. I think you can throw whoever the starting running back is going to be for Seattle, whoever they announce.
DJ Dallas.
Was it Alex Collins that got elevated? Was I reading that right?
Yeah, he signed to their practice squad on Wednesday, and then he got elevated
And he already got
today
elevated?
or yesterday. But I
Crazy.
I don't see him even. Maybe he gets 2 or 3 snaps, but I don't. I mean, this guy was just like on his couch like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I don't understand how he could play an NFL game.
I don't know if you guys remember, but when he was on the Ravens a few years ago, man, he was electric.
Yeah.
With his visor, man, I was all in.
Dude, he was sick. And I remember, like, they even had a special segment on him doing, like, ballet or something for his balance. I forget what. He did some type of dance lessons or something, and it said he helped it with his balance. And there was a whole, like, segment on it during, like, halftime or something. It was funny. But, man, when I saw that name, it just, like, threw me back. It was funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of gross because you're starting the pass catchers for Seattle for sure. You're probably starting the pass catchers for Buffalo as well. I think really the only conversation is, and you're starting the quarterbacks too. The only conversation is the running backs for each team. You know, like Buffalo running backs have not really given you very much to feel confident or comfortable about, and with the Seattle running backs, I mean, you probably start DJ Dallas, but I don't know. Maybe Travis Homer has a bit more of a role. Maybe Alex Collins gets a couple snaps and kind of they get him going a little bit. Who knows? It's all kind of gross. But what's probably most important and most interesting about this is that it's supposed to be a relatively high scoring game, and Vegas has this line at 55 as the over under with Seattle by I think 3 last time I checked. So that's like basically Seattle like 29 to 26. That's kind of Vegas' idea. So there's going to be some points, going to be some value to be had.
I'd probably take the over for that game. I feel like it's going to
Yeah, I agree.
spiral out of control.
Yeah.
Both defenses have been awful. I mean, the Bills have like a decent secondary, I think. But other than that, like, should be a high scoring affair.
Yeah, I think
All right,
just
who
start
we got for that
everybody.
game?
Start everybody. Let's keep it simple. Who we got for the winner?
Seahawks.
I'm taking the Hawks.
Yeah, it's got to be, right? 3 for 3.
All right, let's see if that comes true. All right, for the next game, we got Chicago at Tennessee. That game doesn't look very appealing to me. Um, for the Bears, you're definitely going to start Montgomery. You're going to start A-Rob. I think you can also start Mooney. I think I am starting him in our league this week.
Really?
Due to some bias, I didn't really have many other
Heck?
options.
Yeah, it's not bad. Someone's got to score. It's like this game is kind of gross, but like at the same time, there's kind of a decent amount of points that could be had, and I think there's a decent amount of fantasy options that are pretty viable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like happy starting him, but against Tennessee, I feel like could be definitely worse. And
Mm-hmm.
it's either him or Des Bryant. So
He's going to be
Could
active
just get
roster.
Desmond King.
that is true.
But can he play this week? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Was it the 5-day period done or no? I don't know.
Did that deal get done on Monday or Tuesday? Because I think that'd be a big difference.
I guess
Might have
we
been a
should look
Monday
that up.
deal.
Here, hold on.
Yeah, look that up real quick. So I guess that helps Mooney if he plays, because then I guess King will probably be on A-Rob.
Well, I think King's more of
Right.
a he's more
Yeah,
of a
it says
slot corner.
he's making his debut.
No, maybe not. Maybe I'm screwing myself. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, I mean, or I could start Cole Beasley against Seattle, but with
That's
John Brown,
what I would do, but
John Brown's back. I feel like he's more healthy than he has been. So I guess it'll be a game time decision.
yeah, I got a couple of those this week too. A couple of yucky situations, but yeah, the Bears are relatively easy. I mean, you're pretty much starting the guys that you'd normally start. I think you can probably roll out Jimmy Graham, just because I think I can really only see a scenario where about 3 or 4 players from Chicago score a touchdown, and outside of that, it's just no one else is going to score. It's going to be Montgomery, A-Rob, maybe Mooney, and maybe Graham. It's they just don't have anybody else, and then don't feel good about the Bears defense. This offense is too good. And I mean, for Tennessee, pretty much starting everybody too. Henry, you can't bench. I don't really see how you can get away from A.J. Brown after what he's posted since he came back. Corey Davis has been lighting it up as of late. He's a decent option, solid floor. I mean, Jonnu.
Jonnu's been rough the past few weeks.
Yeah.
With A.J. Brown coming back, he's just targets have deteriorated.
But who else are you going to play, though? Like, over Jonnu,
Yeah, I have no one else. So,
side note, I just saw a stat that for any college football fans out there, Justin Fields has 8 touchdowns this year and 7 incompletions. Okay, wait, hold on, that's not right. It's 8. Well, there's some sort of stat.
Very, very relevant.
Thank you for that.
It's just insane.
Who's winning this game? This is interesting.
It is. I think it'll be very close. Definitely.
And like every time we think the Titans are going to win, they've completely let us down.
I think I'm gonna take the Bears. Honestly.
Really, I'm gonna roll with the Titans. This just feels like one of those games where they kind of impose their will a little bit, and they get things back on track at home.
It's definitely the Titans. They're not going to lose 3 in a row.
Luke's the lone wolf here. Putting a lot of stock in Nick Foles there, buddy.
I do hope A-Rob goes off, though.
Thank you. Me too. All
right.
What do we got next?
Mooney.
What do we got?
All right, we got Baltimore, Indy. Should be a very good game, honestly. Good offense versus a tough defense. But
yeah,
more that I think about it, I don't know. I'm just thinking about the Colts offense and how terrible Jonathan Taylor is, and yeah.
And Philip Rivers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the consensus here is sit your Colts and start your Ravens.
Normally I'd say that, but I don't know. The Colts defense has been really solid. I mean, I think you probably roll out Marquise Brown because he complained about not getting enough targets, so they probably force feed him a little bit this week. And I don't see why you would bench Mark Andrews at this point. It just, I mean, he's been pretty disappointing, but I mean, it's like, again, same thing with Johnny Smith. Like, who else you're going to play over him? You know, I mean, there's not very many other tight ends that have a better shot at getting a touchdown or two. The running backs are tough.
Interesting.
They're interesting, but like difficult because
Mhm.
like this Colts defense has been really solid against the run, and it's just kind of one of those things where it's like, now that Mark Ingram is out of the way, it's like this is what you've been waiting for with J.K. Dobbins, but at the same time, it's like Gus Edwards is still not going away. So it's like, yes, Mark Ingram is out. You went from 3 running backs to 2, but I don't know if there's a scenario where both these running backs have really solid games and score. You know, it's kind of going to be one or the other. And I think Edwards is probably
Yeah.
more likely to score, but I think Dobbins is probably more likely to break off a big play. So,
Well, I need Edwards to score because I'm starting Frank Gore and Edwards as my running backs this week.
yeah. I think you just roll them both out. Because I mean, if we're predicting that the Ravens win this game, I think they're going to be able to run the ball regardless of how good we think that the Colts defense is. And I mean, the Colts defense also hasn't played a rushing quarterback like Lamar Jackson, so you know that's a whole different ballgame that you have to account for when it comes to, you know, the Ravens rushing attack. So I think you roll out your Ravens, you sit your Colts. I mean, if you want to play Jonathan Taylor, good luck. I mean, I don't know what you've seen this year that would make you confident in playing him against like one of the best defenses in the league, but you know, you can try.
Yeah. All right. I think our opinions are gonna result in us picking the Ravens. Am I correct?
No, man, I'm going with the Colts.
Yeah.
Just kidding. It's gonna be the
All
Ravens.
right.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Next
game, we have a highly anticipated one for one reason. We have Carolina versus Kansas City. And the number 1 running back off the board this year, Christian McCaffrey, is coming back, and you are going to start him 10 times out of 10, no matter what. Sad news for Mike Davis owners, such as myself.
You've had a good run,
though. Yeah, he had a good 3 or 4 games, and then the last 2 he kind of slowed down. Defenses started picking up on him, figuring out he was an actual threat. So I think if you're a Mike Davis owner, you can either stash him in case McCaffrey unfortunately gets injured again, or you can try to trade him to the McCaffrey owner selling him as a handcuff. But yeah, I think those are your 2 options. You stash or sell to the McCaffrey owner.
Don't drop him.
Yeah, no reason to drop.
McCaffrey had that. It was a high ankle sprain, wasn't it? So I mean, we've seen running backs try to come back and struggle. And even if he is 100% back, I mean, it's one of the higher end handcuffs that, you know, as we've seen the last 4 or 5 weeks. So I mean, at least see how it plays out, you know, this week. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's a 70-30 split or a 60-40 even in these next few games, and maybe even Davis can have some value. But I think, you know, you're starting CMC. You don't start Davis, just you keep him. You start the wide receivers. You know, you start DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. I don't really know why you would have to start Teddy Bridgewater just because there's so many other good quarterbacks. Don't really love him in KC, and that's pretty gross. Kansas City is kind of – I mean, you start Mahomes, you start Tyreek, you start Kelsey. If you want to roll the dice with Mecole Hardman, it's, you know, you're probably going to be let down, but you might be really happy too. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but I think really the only maybe difficult part is Le'Veon Bell, because you're starting Clyde based on where you took him, and I think this could be a game where Carolina kind of gets destroyed, and I think that Lev Bell could have some mop up work. But then again, we thought that last week with the Jets, and he was pretty horrendous. So roll him out at will. I wouldn't expect anything too crazy. Maybe he scores, but pretty much starting most of the relevant fantasy options at this point. And then the winners. I mean, we going KC across the board or what?
Yeah, definitely.
It's got to be, right?
I'd like to
All
see
right.
the Carolina pull it out with McCaffrey coming back, but I don't see it happening in reality.
Okay, now time for 3 really gross games in a row.
We'll fire through these.
Yeah.
So we got Detroit at Minnesota. I guess the big news was Stafford's availability because he got put on the COVID list because he was considered a high-risk contact. The word now is that he is playing tomorrow. I think he has to pass one more test, but he's passed like 3 or 4 already, and we're negative, so he should be clear to go tomorrow. I think you can start Marvin Jones. You can start TJ Hawkinson. Possibly Marvin Hall as a very deep flex option. I think you can start Swift just because he's shown he's an athlete. He's explosive, an electric kind of player. Just depends on Patricia if he hands on the ball or not instead of giving it to the 45-year-old Adrian Peterson. Just kidding.
Vikings are
so I guess the Vikings, you're starting Cook, you're starting Jefferson, and you're starting Thielen.
You're not starting Cousins.
Kirk Cousins. I mean,
they
are in a dome, so it could be Cousins one. Yeah, I mean, unless you're really struggling at QB, then I don't think you're going to start Cousins. But they are in a dome, and when they play in the dome, they do good. So something to keep an eye on. Anything else?
Lions.
I think I'll take the Vikings.
Yeah, I'm not going with the Lions again. I'm just about tired of Matt Patricia and him letting everybody down. So I'm going with the Vikings. But what's odd is that why do we even have any reservations about the Vikings considering that they just went into Lambeau and smacked the Packers like that? Why wasn't even a thought?
That was crazy watching Dalvin Cook score 4 touchdowns last week. I had him in DraftKings. He saved me in like 2 lineups.
Yeah.
Got a nice little profit.
All right, Luke and I got the Vikings. Logan's got the Lions. How about the next one? This got the really quick.
New York Giants versus the Washington football team. Gross game. Not looking forward to watching this. Hopefully they won't even make it to the red zone, so they don't have to air that on NFL Red Zone.
Yeah, that would be a waste of screen space on the
waste of time. I think you can start Scary Terry.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He's facing James.
I don't feel great about that though.
Yeah, he's facing James Bradbury, who has been good this year.
The Giants' defense was insane last week.
Yeah, they almost pulled away against the.
Like it wasn't even like
Tampa Bay.
The Bucs were having a bad game. They were literally just. It was lockdown coverage.
Yeah, so you don't feel good about Terry, but I think you're still going to start him just because he has. I mean, who else is there to throw to on that offense?
I mean, if Washington does anything on offense, it's going to be through him. So, I mean, you can't project them to not score any points. Like it's kind of not really another option there. But I think you go McLaurin. I think you can probably get away with Gibson or McKissick as a flex option. McKissick more in a format like PPR, half PPR, where the catches count. Gibson's probably more likely to score, but he is coming off a big week prior to their bye week. I think a 20 carry performance or something like that.
Yeah.
Lord as well.
It was against Dallas, so we have to temper expectations, but
Yeah.
he's definitely getting the volume, but he doesn't run any routes is the thing that I've been looking.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not getting any of the third down passing work, which definitely limits his upside. But I feel like the way the football team is going to be getting it done is either through Gibson or McLaurin. So,
or their defense maybe.
Right.
How about the Giants?
So, I think the Giants' defense is a good stream this week.
Who do you like more? You like Giants or football team?
I think both of them really. I think
Yeah.
both of those defenses are very viable this week, just because of how unexpected the offenses are. So
yeah, you don't start a Giants running back. You could probably start Shepard, but you better hope that Jones has a decent game. Otherwise, it could get ugly pretty quick. Slayton is probably due for like one of those random 100-yard, 2-touchdown games, but it's so hard to project that, because it's like you don't know when it's going to come. And I guess, or how about this? Would you rather start Logan Thomas or Evan Ingram in this game?
Ingram.
Yeah, I think Thomas might have a better shot at scoring, but probably lower floor too.
Ingram will get more touches, I think.
Yeah. Who's winning this game?
Washington football team.
Giants.
I'm going to go the football team too. I think this could be a game where in our picks, this could be a deciding one because I don't have really very much confidence in either side. So, but I'm going to go Washington.
I feel like just watching the Giants was it Monday night?
Yeah.
Logan? I don't know, dude. Something about it. So I'm gonna take the Giants on that one. I don't feel great about it, but
I like the idea I was just gonna say I like the idea of Washington coming off their bye and hosting the Giants on a short week. Like I think their defense is gonna be rested. I think that Daniel Jones is gonna be constantly having to scramble because I mean that front seven for Washington, should be pretty much fully healthy.
You're convincing me otherwise. Can I change my pick?
Yeah. Well, just stick with it because then at least we'll have a little bit of different exposure because we've had some tweets so far.
I'll take a gamble. I'll take the under.
How about the Jags hosting the Texans? What do we got here?
I want to say it's going to be a huge game for James Robinson just because I have him. But with Gardner Minshew out, not that he's anything special this time of the year, unfortunately. I think that puts a damper on that offense as a whole. So I think Houston, although their defense is horrible and Bradley Roby is out as well, I still think they can put definitely a game plan against the Jaguars, assuming that they are going to be trying to run the ball primarily. Mm-hmm. So, but at the same time, who knows? I mean, with one of their corners out, they may think, oh, they know this. We might try to, surprise them and get the ball through the air more. Who knows? But I think you're definitely going to start James Robinson. I think you probably should avoid most of the pass catchers, Chanel, Cole. I think the only one you can start with any sort of confidence is Chark, but even then, it's just you're not feeling great about it. Because I don't even know who their quarterback is. I know it's not Glennon. It's the third-string guy, I think.
Jake Luton, sixth-round rookie.
So who knows? Maybe this guy will be above expectation.
Yeah, I mean, and the connection between Minshew and Chark, I mean, it can't get worse. So, I mean, maybe Luton locks on to a guy like Chark and takes a couple shots and maybe you connect because, I mean, with Roby out there, I mean, there's just no defense that's going to be played in this game, I feel like. So it's like someone's going to have a decent game and it might be really ugly, but There's no one that can cover DJ Chark that's on the Texans, and there's no one that can cover Will Fuller or Brandon Cooks that's on the Jaguars. So, the personnel on defense is just not there for either team. You gotta love Watson this week. Start the pass catchers on that team minus the tight ends. DJ,
I'm rolling out DJ. Feeling decent about it.
Yeah.
I think he'll get in the end zone, hopefully.
probably.
I think they're going to be easily driving the ball down the field. So once they get to the goal line, I feel like they've got a good shot of giving it to him a couple of times, maybe even. Maybe he'll have his first multi-touchdown game.
Maybe.
So
Who's winning this one?
if there's any week, I'm taking Houston for sure.
You both took Houston? Dang. Okay.
Come on.
I think Houston's going to win, but for the sake of being different, but the Jags pull off something. I'll go with the Jags. I'm going to go with the Jags.
All right. Pick is locked in. All right, that's all of the 10 a.m. games. I guess we can move on to the 105/125. We only got 3 games this week for that slate. The first game, we got the Los Angeles Chargers hosting the Las Vegas Raiders. I think this game is definitely going to be a shootout. A lot of high scoring, not two not so great defenses versus 2 pretty decent offenses.
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys think?
Logan?
I can hear. What was that?
We got the Chargers and the Raiders.
Josh Jacobs, good flex start.
Nice.
I'm just kidding.
This feels like a
kinda,
Jacob week.
But,
Isn't he questionable?
Yeah,
I don't know about that.
He was sick or something on Thursday, but then he came back on Friday. So I'm pretty sure he's going to play.
Okay.
He could easily have a good game, but I don't know if it's a week that you want for him. I don't know if it's a good matchup. I just feel like the Chargers are going to be able to score. So
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a run-heavy game plan.
maybe not.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like Gruden's just gonna give the dude the rock 30 times a game, regardless if he's playing. So
Yeah.
I think you're definitely starting Herbert. I think you can stream Carr this week.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Waller is a start for sure. I don't know about Ruggs. I feel like you just don't have much confidence in him. He's only had 1 good game this year. He's been on and off the field.
I don't hate it.
Really, all the pass catches in Vegas are just a little sketchy, other than Waller. So
Yeah, but if we're projecting Carr to be a decent streamer, and if we think this game's going to be a shootout, then someone's going to have a game. I think could be Ruggs. Could be Ruggs on a big play. Could be Renfro, 4 or 5 catches, maybe he scores. Could be Waller. Ugh.
yeah,
Could be Aguilar.
Interesting. One of them has to, right?
Yeah.
On the Chargers side of the field, there's one thing keep an eye on. Keenan Allen just went on the injury report. He's questionable. Said he had a sore throat. And then I just saw a report from Adam Schefter saying because of the sore throat, they took a COVID test. It was negative. I think he still has to take another one to prove that he's negative to play. So something to keep an eye on tomorrow morning. See if he can still play. But I think he'll be fine. But you never know. And if Allen is out, that's a huge bump to Mike Williams. I think both the running backs get a huge bump. Hunter Henry for sure. So
Yeah.
Something to keep an eye out on. All right, who we taking? I'm taking the. I don't know, man. Can you trust the Chargers? I mean, you give up a 20-something point lead or whatever to the Broncos, like just unforgiving.
I'm going Raiders.
Yeah.
The Raiders are not a bad football team.
Correct.
Luke, who are you going?
I'm gonna take the Chargers. I think it's just gonna be a big FU game.
Yeah, I think.
They're gonna have more to lose or less to lose.
I think I will go with the Chargers as well. On Wolf.
Mm-hmm.
Right, next game. Oh man, this is gonna be
Wow,
bloody for the Dallas Cowboys.
this is disgusting.
We Pittsburgh at Dallas. Dallas is rolling out with Cooper Rush as their starting quarterback. So I think he's definitely a must start this week. I mean, have you seen that hair? Crazy. Yeah, I don't think you're starting anyone from the Cowboys
No.
with any confidence at all. So, and Steelers, I mean, you think that you're like, oh yeah, Johnson must start, Juju must start. I don't know. Like, I feel like they're gonna get up. Their defense may or may not score multiple touchdowns.
I'm going to
So,
take the over on the defensive touchdowns.
yeah, for real. So I think James Conner is definitely a must start. Even Benny Snell, maybe. I mean, who knows how far they get up, and they may not. They may want to keep Connor, keep his legs fresh, and they just throw in their backups. I mean, their backups have shown they can get it done even with Connor's absence. So I don't know. I feel like I mean,
Yeah,
one of the wide receivers is probably going to score, but you just don't know which one.
probably something meaningless like James Washington.
Right? This will be the week.
But I agree 100%, Luke. I mean, and we kind of skipped over it a little bit, but Zeke is looking very questionable as to whether or not he's going to play. And even if he does
Yeah, I
play,
don't think
again,
it
we're
is.
talking about, Cooper Rush and going up against the Steelers. So I don't even know if you'd want to play him. And if he's out, I mean, I do you even play Pollard? Like, I mean, as a flex, maybe just based on volume or.
Yeah, I think you can flex him.
Yeah.
I feel like he'll get a couple dump offs at least, and maybe he makes something out of it. But
Yeah.
you're not
Sit
feeling
Cooper.
great about it at all. So
Sit all the pass catchers though. I mean, and I agree 100% with your Steelers take because it just I could so see a scenario where Dallas gets the ball first and there's like a pick six like 2 minutes into the game or a fumble recovery or something, and then all of a sudden James Conner has 2 touchdowns at half, and Big Ben throws like 19 times and it just gets out of hand. So I mean, it's unfortunate because it's like this is such an amazing matchup, but if the Steelers are just too good of a team, unfortunately.
it's like too amazing.
Yeah,
It just put so
that was quick. Steelers are going to win this
I
game.
guess Steelers all the way. An interesting game in the last or the afternoon, which I think is going to be closer than a lot of people think, is Miami at Arizona. Arizona clearly, I think they have the number 1 rated offense this year.
Pretty sure Miami's given up the least amount of points on defense.
Exactly. So Miami has a very good defense, as we saw last week against the Rams, where they scored like 20-something fantasy points. Goff had like 3 or 4 turnovers. So this is definitely going to be a battle, I think. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I don't really. I mean, I think you're correct in the sense that it's going to be a battle, but this just does not feel like a game that's going to have very many points in it, in my opinion. Just because I feel like if the Cardinals' offense is so great, I want to see them go up against the Dolphins' defense, which is so weird to even say out loud, the Dolphins' defense.
I know.
Um, but it's a new coach and everything, so we got to give them the credit that they deserve. But and then the other side of the ball, it's like the Cardinals defense is probably middle of the pack, so they're not horrible, not necessarily like a defensive target, but I mean the Dolphins offense had to do nothing last week. I mean, Tua threw for less than 100 yards, so we haven't really seen what they can do. So, and no Gaskin. And is Breida going to step in? No, Breida's out too. So it's going to be like the Gordon Howard show, I guess. I mean, it's just gross. This game just feels low scoring to me.
I think Tua might be exposed this game,
Unfortunately.
but yeah. So, you're definitely gonna start Hopkins. You're gonna start Murray. Edmonds, I think you can start with some decent amount of confidence. I mean,
For sure.
Drake out. I mean, who else is there besides Kyler Murray? Still rushing yards. I don't think you can start any other wide receivers there. Any confidence. On the flip side, Dolphins.
No.
Parker is your only hope.
Maybe.
But I don't know. He had like one catch and it was the touchdown last week. Given that Tua only threw like less than 10 times or something crazy like that, or I don't know how many times, but yeah. So I think Parker's the only one that has potential to be started, but other than that, not really feeling it.
Yeah.
I'm definitely taking the Cardinals in this game though, even though I feel like their offense is just far, far superior than the Dolphins. So I'm assuming the same.
I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Really?
I'm going Cardinals.
Yeah. I think their defense is good enough. And, I mean, I'm kind of banking on Tua being something, but
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
I mean, they have Preston Williams, who's not too bad. Parker and Gesicki. They have enough weapons to get it done.
Yeah.
For that defense.
They definitely have guys, but I guess we shall see.
It's the hot take of the week.
I think it'll be a good game, honestly. Maybe not very exciting, but it'll be hard fought.
It's a good football game. I don't know if it's going to be a great fantasy.
Good competitive game.
Yeah.
So. All right, we're down to Sunday Night Football. We got a very good game, a nice little Week 1 rematch of New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Very exciting game for several reasons. The main one being Antonio Brown being activated in the starting lineup. Bruce Arians,
That's the main
as
one.
he always is. Oh yeah, definitely.
Not Thomas?
No.
No, yeah, I was gonna say Thomas is
Okay.
coming second biggest thing for this week in that game. Guess the main question is how much Antonio Brown's gonna play. I mean, Bruce Arians, as he always is very deceptive when he talks, and you don't really know what he means or if the complete opposite is what he means when he says something. It's very frustrating. So definitely a game that's going to be awesome to watch. Very exciting. What you guys got on that?
I don't think AB needs too much playing time to make an impact, fantasy-wise and on the game.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you look back to the one game he played with the Patriots with Tom Brady last year, he had like two catches for like 50 yards and touchdown or something.
Yeah, like 4 for 56 and a touchdown. You could have had
there you
2.
go. So And just immediately with who knows how much practice under
It
his
was like
belt.
a week of practice, barely.
Yeah. So he clearly still has the rapport with Brady. I think he'll definitely get something done.
My hope is because I'm starting AB and Godwin, so I'm hoping because Godwin's supposed to be like he should be normal playing time and everything. So I'm hoping that he does most of the work getting down the field, and then AB has a touchdown or some sort of big play where he gets me some points. So that's what I'm hoping for.
Jacob?
I think this is gonna be a game that we're gonna really like to watch, but I think we're gonna be disappointed in the fantasy options. Defenses are too good, man. I think like Tampa Bay could very well make life really difficult on Drew Brees and the Saints, and I think I could say the same thing about the Saints defense, but not nearly as much. I think this and the fact that it's in Tampa Bay and it's outdoors, I don't have a lot of faith like in the Saints, to be honest. I don't know. There's just kind of a lot of guys, and like I don't really feel very strongly about any one. And it's like you add AB, Godwin comes back, Evans has been like good, but like it feels very like fluky because he's not getting the volume at all. So it's like if he doesn't score, I don't see how you get a good game for Mike Evans, especially in this game. Plus with the matchup on Marshawn Lattimore that he has, struggled with in the past. Godwin coming back. I mean, what's nice is that it's not like a lower body injury, so he should be able to fit to play like a relatively full complement of snaps. But what's not so great is that it's a hand injury, so it's like does that affect him catching at all? Probably not, but there's an option. Then you add AB into the mix, and I agree. I think he scores this week. I don't know. Don't quite think the snaps are going to be there, but I think he's going to be used in like high stake situation, like a third down goal, like or a red zone situation. Um, and we haven't even talked about like half of Tampa Bay's other players because Scotty
Right.
Miller's been great, Gronk has been great,
Uh,
the running backs have been unpredictable, but if you did predict them right, they've been pretty good. Just not very consistent. Um, yeah,
so many pieces on
I
that
know
offense.
it's
It's
like kind of
ridiculous. Like Evans, Gronk, Godwin, AB, Fournette, Rojo, Scotty Miller. That's 7 guys, not even including Tom Brady. 7 guys who have the potential to start. I mean, what other offense in the NFL has that many dudes who you're like thinking about starting each week?
yeah.
It's pretty remarkable, honestly. So I think
You
what
can't
all
start
this,
Scotty Miller though. I don't.
yeah, not anymore as
Yeah,
of now.
he's probably out. But to me, it just screams like Brady could easily have like a 3 touchdown type of game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Brady going forward is going to be untouchable. I mean,
Yeah.
what more could you want from your offense, and including your offensive line being very stellar this year? So
Start the pass catchers. Fournette? Question mark.
I feel like you're not going to start either of the running backs in this game.
I think you can probably roll out Fournette, but I don't have a lot of confidence he's going to score. I think they're going to throw on the goal line is the problem.
Yeah.
But he could get 4 or 5 catches and make up for it. So I think you could roll out Fournette. I don't think that you should play Ronald Jones at least until you see some type of like, do you physically see on the field a difference, between him and Fournette in playing time or quality of touches or anything like you just need to see it before we can trust it again because it's Bruce Arians is very annoying, but yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
one mistake Rojo makes, he's out. He's in
Yeah, for sure.
doghouse.
Yeah. And I mean, in Bruce Arians' defense, I mean, Leonard Fournette is clearly an amazing running back, who's still in his prime and everything. So, at least I get it from that perspective. But how about on the Saints side of the ball? You're starting Kamara, you're
Mm-hmm.
starting Thomas, Jared Cook.
Oh, benchable.
he could score, but I don't think the
I love
yardage
the
is
start
going to be
kick.
there.
I think he's probably the best tight end in the league, actually, behind Gronk and maybe Waller.
Jeez.
Dude, he's undeniably good as a tight end option. I'm sorry.
No, but it's
It's
just,
undeniable.
If he scores, yeah.
yeah. Who knows? Maybe Thomas will open things up. You never know.
Maybe, but again, I mean, who's Jared Cook going to be covered by? Like they're facing Tampa Bay, so
Yeah.
if it's Jared Cook versus Devin White, I don't really like that matchup very much, So you could roll him out. You just better hope he scores because the volume has not been there, and the yardage really hasn't been there either. So but again, like Logan mentioned, even though he was joking, I mean it's true in the sense that if you line up 20 tight ends and say who's the most likely to score, I mean Jared Cook is probably towards the top of that list. How do you feel about Breeze? I don't really feel very good about him this week outdoors in Tampa, even with Thomas coming back.
I'm gonna avoid
I
him.
don't like him either.
Plus a little bit of a shoulder injury he's kind of battling through this week.
Yeah, it doesn't help the case. I don't like him.
You start the Tampa Bay defense or no?
Yeah.
I think you can. I think they're probably good for 3 or 4 sacks, to be honest, because Brees is so immobile at this point.
Or an interception.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
I'd say
I
probably
mean-
3 sacks and an interception or something like that. But they might give up some points. We'll see.
Yeah.
It's not even about like them being that great this week. I just don't think there's other teams that would be so far ahead of
Yeah.
them. Like,
All right. Who we taking?
arg.
Yep. Jacob, I'm taking
Yeah.
the Args as well.
It's got to be Tampa. I mean, I could definitely be wrong, but I don't really see a scenario where the Saints go into Tampa and win. And like that sounds weird because Tampa's been kind of like give or take, but the Saints have been very disappointing. I mean, their record doesn't suggest that, but like when you watch their games, I mean, it's just like, oh my gosh, this is gross. Like it's like basically Alvin Kamara dump off, get them down to the 5-yard line. Jared Cook / Taysom Hill touchdown. And
Taysom Hill.
they're like that's the recipe. So it's really gross to watch. And I mean, yeah, I don't have very much confidence in them. So gotta go with Tampa.
Yeah. All right, Tampa across the board. We're on to our final game, Monday Night Football.
Speaking of gross,
And oh man, this could really hurt. We got New England at the Jets. Just you think about this game, and if it was a few years ago, you're just like, oh yeah, this is the game for New England to just assert their dominance as always. And this year is almost quite the opposite. I think the Jets have a legitimate chance of winning this game.
Please lose, Patriots. Please lose.
If Darnold plays, and I saw that he was questionable, and he might be trending.
he's out, man. He's out. It's gonna be
Flacco starting.
Okay. So he is out.
Dude, if the Patriots lose this game, dude, I turn from hoping to get like Trey Lance something to I go full tank for Trevor mode.
Yeah, it's looking grim. Darnold's out. Frank Gore's out. Crowder is back, or is he questionable?
Let me check his status because that guy just cannot
pretty
say.
sure I know, but when he is on the field, 10 targets, but that is with Darnold. So I think Darnold being out, I think New England's going to have to take this game. If they lose, they're just going to be an embarrassment. I mean, Bill is going to retire. This game really does mean a lot to them, surprisingly. as for fantasy implications, I'm just avoiding everything.
I think you can
regarding
start
this game.
Damian Harris.
Maybe the Patriots defense. I think that can be a good stream.
Yeah.
But
I think you might be able to start Cam and Damian Harris.
That's
yeah,
literally
that's
it,
true.
though.
Harris has looked decent.
Yeah.
Harris has looked decent recently, and I think
Unless Sony's back, I don't know. I'm gonna check that real quick. Is Sony back?
You checking on that? Okay. Yeah, I think there's a maximum of 4 players that I feel confident in this game. Or no, confident is not the right word actually. That I feel okay about in this game. Patriots defense is one of them. Damian Harris is another one. And Cam, and that's on the Patriots side of the ball. And I don't even feel great about that. I think that's just me talking myself into the fact that I think the Patriots could be up in this game for most of it, and I could see Damian Harris getting some quality second half touches. And if Cam Newton does not get it together in this game, then I don't understand when he will. So I mean, maybe he rushes for a score or two. The guy literally has 2 passing touchdowns this entire year. I mean, it's so bad.
oh,
I don't know.
what, like 6 games, 5 games? Regardless,
He missed
just
1
He missed 2, I think.
or 2.
Or wait, no. No,
Yeah, he
because
missed
they
two.
used the bye, I
Yeah.
thought. So I think it was only 1.
So he's played what, 7? Or he's
But
played.
I mean, he has like what, 5 rushing touchdowns or something.
Yeah, and then I just looked and Crowder was questionable with the groin, so that's a little bit tricky because it's a
Yeah.
Monday night game, and it's like I don't know. If I had to give people advice, I would say probably just find another option because as
Yeah,
good as
for
Crowder's
sure.
been, like if he's questionable going into Monday night, you're not gonna like your options if you have to pivot. Number one, and number two, like while he's been good with Darnold and stuff, like if Darnold's not there, I mean we're banking on Jamison Crowder on Monday Night Football with Joe Flacco in a game that's probably going to be like 20-17. Like I just like you don't want that going. If you're
Yeah,
banking on
this
Jamison
whole
Crowder to get you,
game.
a win on Monday Night Football, you're going to be disappointed. I'm afraid.
This whole game is just like Halloween candy of dots, that you just don't want it at all. You don't want to involve yourself. You don't want to eat one ever. I know it's a terrible analogy, but regardless, you just terrible game.
I got it.
So.
I got it.
It's a Damien. I know Sony returned to practice this week. Didn't say whether he's playing or not, but he still has to be activated. But I think you can do that tomorrow.
Is Sony an injured reserve or a COVID list issue?
He's on in reserve, but he was on both, I think. I mean,
Oh, good.
so he was on in reserve, but
He's on both.
but then he got COVID. But I think he's already done with that, and he served his 3 weeks on IR, so he's eligible to be activated, and he was at practice. So if he is activated, just keep an eye on that, and if he is, I wouldn't really want to start Harris anymore, just because I don't know what they're going to do.
I don't see how the Patriots, with what they've seen from Harris the last couple of games, could try to re-involve Sony Michel. But it's weird because I'm seeing what you're seeing in the sense that he returned to practice, but usually they would activate them, not this close to game time. I guess they play on Monday, but still they usually give it at least a day or two. So
I think they did that with someone. I think they did that with someone else recently, though. It's Belichick just doing Belichick things.
Yeah, that's good.
And the reason Sony could have a role is because before he got hurt the last game, he looked like first-round pick Sony. So, I don't know.
Yeah, he was ripping off some long runs, wasn't he?
Long runs. He was juking people out, breaking tackles.
Was that against the Dolphins?
Raiders.
Oh, shoot. You're right.
So, I don't know. He always gives you just a little bit to keep you wanting more, and then sucks.
A little taste here and there.
Ugh.
So frustrating.
All right, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm taking the Patriots.
Yeah.
As a Patriots fan, I'm taking the Patriots, but if they lose, I'm not even
Thank
mad
you, Trevor. TFT.
because I'll take tanking for Lawrence over 8-8, maybe getting the last playoff spot and getting absolutely
Dude,
destroyed in the first round of the playoffs.
at this point, it looks so grim for
Just
them.
give me
So
just give me Trevor Lawrence.
yeah,
I'm just saying, if we get Trevor Lawrence or Justin Fields, it's over. We're back.
the new dynasty begins.
Sign Allen Robinson. Sign
What did
Curtis
you say?
Samuel.
You say Curtis Samuel?
Oh,
Interesting.
I like Curtis Samuel, dude.
all right. Let's wrap it up. Come on now.
All right. Go for it, Jacob. It's all you.